Well, I guess as my mattress is priming, step 1 of 3, I'll film a little intro. Big thank you to my mom for helping me set this up. But yeah, as you guys probably saw, I recently picked up the 8Sleep mattress. My coach Natasha, she has been raving about it, saying that it's been a game changer. The main reason I got it is actually, well, partly because of my mom as well. My mom likes to sleep a little bit hotter, and so, yeah, we want to save some money by not running the air conditioning 24/7, blasting it at 55 degrees. And so I decided to invest in the 8Sleep. That way, my mom can keep the house warm, and I can be nice and cool. For those of you that don't know what the 8Sleep is, it's pretty much a mattress that uses AI and this thing right here, which is it's like a, I don't know what to call it, the pod, I guess, but it uses a combination of water and hydrogen peroxide to cool your bed. And the reason why it uses AI is because it learns your sleeping patterns, and then so it knows how to, if you don't break it, adjust the temperature of your bed based on how you're sleeping. And it also cools it before you go to bed. And then you'll see later, but in the setup process, you can set your bedtime and wake time. And so before you go to bed, it cools it. And then when you're about to wake up, it warms up your bed. And then it also vibrates as well. So it's like a personalized alarm clock or a built-in alarm clock. And yeah, I picked it up because sleep is very important for recovery. And I thought, what? For everybody, yes. Not just for athletes, but for moms of athletes too. So I'm very interested to see how this works. It was not cheap. This cost me about $2,500. I also bought 2 carbon pillows for $300. Not each, it was $150 each. But my coach actually has a discount code. I am very excited to use this. As I mentioned, I set it was very easy to set up. You just download the app and it takes you through it. The actual setup process was like 10 minutes. You just have to make sure you have hydrogen peroxide with you. I bought that earlier because they send you an email saying, get some hydrogen peroxide. And yeah, relatively straightforward. I'm sure I will have shown the screen recording of me setting it up, but now it has to prime, whatever that means. So yeah, I'm gonna finish doing that, and then I probably won't record for a few days. I'll sleep with it for a bit, see what I think of it. I know last night I got like 5 hours of sleep because it was hot. And I'll let you guys know my thoughts, what I think of it. I'll show you some more of the app. The app also tracks resting heart rate, HRV. I mean, my watch does all of that, so it's not too big of a deal for me. But if you are someone that's very interested in those metrics and you don't have a watch or wearable that does that, then that's another advantage to having it. Tracks sleep time, all of the above. So, I think step 1 of 3 almost done. Yeah, anyway, I'm going to go finish priming my bed, and then I'll catch you after a few, hopefully, good night's sleep, and let you know my experience so far. Well, as you can probably see by the growth of new facial hair, it's been more than just a few days. Actually, I'm going to take my watch off. Sometimes when it buzzes and whatnot, it distracts me from the video. As I was saying, it's been more than just a few days since I set up the 8Sleep and recorded those last few clips. It's actually been, I think I recorded that in January, and it is now February. So I've been sleeping with the 8Sleep for about a month now. And yeah, I definitely wanted to come on here, share my thoughts, and kind of let you know my final verdict on the 8Sleep, and let you know if I think it is worth the price tag. Long story short, yes, I do think it's worth their price tag. If you guys are pressed for time and don't want to watch the rest of this video, then yeah, end it here. Go pick up an 8Sleep. But if you do want to listen to me talk about some of the comparisons between 8Sleep tracking, Garmin tracking, my thoughts, my final thoughts on the 8Sleep, what I've noticed, then stick around, because that's what I'm going to talk about now. I'm going to talk about the pros, the few cons, and then I also may have a fellow athlete who also uses 8Sleep, Mike, come on, talk about it. He actually uses it with his girlfriend, and so they can talk a little bit more about how it works when you have two people in the same bed. But starting off, I guess we should start off with the pros, since that's kind of the longest. Actually, no, let's kind of talk about, this was really interesting. I want to start off with looking at the metrics comparing 8Sleep to Garmin. As you guys saw when I was setting it up, I think I mentioned it briefly. As I said, I filmed that clip a month ago, so I kind of forgot. But 8Sleep tracks resting heart rate, time spent sleeping, you know, when you go to bed, when you wake up, and it also tracks HRV, and it has a sleep fitness score that you get every morning. I think it uses kind of micro sensors in the sheet to track all that. I'm not an engineer at 8Sleep, so I can't tell you the exact science, but from what I read, it uses some type of micro sensors. And what I found was the exact values, when I'm talking about HRV and resting heart rate specifically, the exact values weren't the same from 8Sleep to my Garmin. I think Garmin will be a little bit more accurate, or any wearable you have, because, you know, it's taking it from the wrist. That being said, the trends were pretty much the exact same. So what I mean by that is, on a day that my Garmin said I had a higher HRV or a lower resting heart rate, the same thing was apparent in the 8Sleep app. Even though the 8Sleep actual value, so let's say my HRV on the watch was 110, 8Sleep I found usually tracked a bit high, so maybe it was 130. But still, both of those would be high for me. Before 8Sleep, honestly, a high HRV value for me would be around 90 or so. And since I've been sleeping in the 8Sleep, I don't think I've seen an HRV value lower than 100, and that's saying something. I've truly been impressed by the quality and the deepness of sleep I've been getting with the 8Sleep. I was actually kind of surprised. I thought that my sleep time would be longer. I thought, you know, instead of sleeping 7.5 to 8 hours, I'd be sleeping closer to 9 hours. But that hasn't been the case. I haven't necessarily been sleeping longer now with the 8Sleep. I've just been sleeping so much deeper, and I wake up feeling so much more rested. It's incredible. You know, it's like before 8Sleep, I didn't realize what a good night's sleep actually felt like. And I think that has to do with the temperature control, honestly. That being said, that actually kind of goes into one of the, not cons, but things I wish they changed, is with the AI that's supposed to change the temperature control. You can't see the history. So what I mean by that is, when you wake up, you can't see when it was changing the temperature. You can see it like live in the app. So there's actually a few times when I woke up in the middle of the night and I had to go to the bathroom or something like that, and I saw that the autopilot was turned on, and it was changing the temperature from what I set it to what it was recommended to be at based on my trends. But when I woke up the following morning, I wasn't able to see, you know, it going up, going down, which I really wish you could. And then also maybe an explanation as to why it was getting slightly hotter, because I thought personally for me, colder was always better. But according to the AI, you know, at some times during the night, I would see it at, you know, 65, 70 instead of 55. And I don't know why. I wish 8Sleep would show that to you. That being said, as I mentioned, yeah, I was just been sleeping so much deeper. And when I did get up to go to the bathroom, or whatever reason, get a drink of water in the middle of the night, I would fall asleep so much quicker. It was incredible. My time spent awake would go from like 30 to 45 minutes before 8Sleep to literally like less than 5 minutes. Even my Garmin, not just 8Sleep was showing this, but my Garmin was showing this. I would fall asleep like that. And my time to get to bed as well, pretty much every time since I've gotten 8Sleep, it's taking me less than 30 minutes to fall asleep, which before that almost never happened. And that actually ties into another thing I've really enjoyed with 8Sleep. You get a sleep score with the Garmin, but what the Garmin doesn't take into account is, I think 8Sleep calls it sleep latency, which is pretty much, how routine your sleep schedule is. Because I don't know all the studies, but there are quite a few studies that show, the time you spend asleep is important, but what's almost as important, if not more important, is that you keep the same sleep schedule day to day. So what I mean by that is, let's say you go to bed 10 p.m. and you wake up at 6 a.m. Monday through Friday, but then Saturday and Sunday comes around and you go to bed at midnight and you wake up at 8 a.m. So you're still getting the same amount of sleep, but the fact that your sleep latency or your schedule has shifted by 2-3 hours, whatever it may be, that actually has quite a bit of a negative impact on your sleep. And 8Sleep takes that into account. And so I've actually found myself trying to get to bed more or less during the same time and waking up during the same time, even on the weekends, because I don't want to see a bad sleep score. So, and it has a pretty big effect. So if I want to see a 90 plus sleep score, I know I need to get to bed sometimes between 8 to 9 and wake up between 5 and 6, because that's when I normally wake up during the week. So I found myself on the weekends trying to hold that same schedule, and I've definitely found that to have positive effects. Now, I've also kind of talked about this already, but the measurement concerning how long you're asleep is also very similar between 8Sleep and Garmin. I found it to be between 5, 10 minutes or so. The one thing I'm not really going to talk about is the sleep stages, deep sleep versus REM sleep, because, and if you guys follow DC Rainmaker, he says this in all of his reviews as well, the gold standard measurements or trackers, the gold standard trackers that measure REM sleep or deep sleep, the different sleep stages, are at best 80%, 90% accurate. And those are like the, state of the art. You have to go to the lab, get all the stuff on your head, the top of the line analyzers, trackers. Yeah, those are at best 80, 90% accurate. And the wearables we have nowadays are being compared to that, and they aren't going to be 100% the same as those. And so at best, you're going to get like 50, 60% accuracy with any of the technology we have nowadays concerning, deep sleep versus REM sleep versus light sleep. So I'm not too concerned about that. Honestly, at the end of the day, I think what's most important is how you feel when you wake up. And yeah, like I said, I've never felt more refreshed since getting the 8Sleep. I mean, almost every morning, I feel great. And the HRV shows it, the resting heart rate. I have recorded the highest HRV values on my Garmin ever since getting the 8Sleep. And my lowest resting, I think I reached like a 35 resting heart rate a few days ago with the 8Sleep. And this is after some incredibly hard training sessions. I've been logging 30, 40 hour training weeks, and I'm still, don't get me wrong, I still wake up a little tired some days, I still wake up with fatigue in my legs, but yeah, I don't know how I survived without it. And I'm not sponsored or anything. This is my true experience. Yeah, it's been game changing. Now, I will say I don't think this would have as big of an impact on you or on me if I didn't struggle sleeping in the heat. I am very sensitive to heat, and I felt like throughout, as long as I can remember, I've had a hard time sleeping when it's hot. And so if you aren't sensitive to the heat, then I don't think this will have the biggest impact on you. I think the AI is cool, how it automatically changes it. As I mentioned, I just wish it kind of explained it a bit more and told you why it's changing the temperature when it does. But I think this has the biggest impact on sleepers that sleep when it's cold, sleep better when it's cold. Another thing I really like about the 8Sleep app is the insights you get from it. So I think a few weeks ago, my HRV was trending higher than normal, and it sent me a little notification saying your HRV has been slightly elevated. It looks like you're recovering well. And even though I kind of knew it, and I saw the data, so I was looking at it constantly, day in and day out, so I knew that my HRV was a bit higher, but still having that little notification, it was nice to see. And then another thing, the breath rate. This was actually one metric I never really looked at too closely before getting 8Sleep. But why I started paying attention to it was because there's actually a time period where I was struggling with, I don't know what it was, some stomach virus, I got food poisoning or something. And my HRV and resting heart rate didn't actually change too much. There's a little bit, my HRV went down a bit, my resting heart rate went up, 1 to 2 beats, but nothing crazy. What did change pretty dramatically was my breath rate. So my breath rate skyrocketed. I think normally I'm around 13, 14 breaths per minute, and it went up to like 17 or 18. And during that time I was sick, I couldn't train, I wasn't feeling great. And so that's actually something I've been paying attention to just as much, if not more, than my resting heart rate and heart rate variability, especially when it comes to determining if I'm sick or not or how hard I should train that day. So I already touched on one of the things that I wish 8Sleep changed, which was, or not necessarily changed, but added, was a feature that showed you why or how, not necessarily how, but yeah, why it changes the temperature when it does during the night. Another feature I wish 8Sleep implemented was better ways of adjusting the time you spent sleeping. So you can do it a little bit after you wake up. You can adjust, I think, the time you go to bed, the time you wake up, but you can't adjust. I don't think you can add in if it, for some reason, if it didn't track you waking up for a few minutes during the night, going to the bathroom, whatever it may be. I don't think you can add that in. So I wish it would do that. But besides that, those are really the only two things I wish 8Sleep changed. And obviously, the price. It's not cheap. It is pretty expensive. But honestly, if you're someone that wants to maximize sleep, recovery, and if you're someone that struggles sleeping in the heat, I really can't recommend this enough. As I've said quite a few times, this has honestly been game-changing. It comes with a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you can send it back. I obviously will not be sending it back. I got rid of the boxes and everything. I am 100% keeping my 8Sleep. If you guys do want me to do a longer-term review to see if I'm still seeing the same benefits and 3, 4, 5 months down the road, let me know. Drop a comment in the comment section down below. And if I haven't inserted the clip from Mike and his girlfriend yet, I'll do that now.
Hey Parker, thanks for letting us come on your YouTube channel and do a review of the 8Sleep, and thank you to Coach Natasha for the discount code as well. So you know me, some of your YouTube followers maybe know me or not. I'm not sure if I've showed up before on your YouTube, but they definitely don't know Allison, and I don't think you've met Allison yet, so this is my girlfriend.
Hello.
So we moved in together in September, and from September till December, we did not have the 8Sleep. We got 8Sleep in December. Up until that point, Allison liked the room to be pretty warm, and I preferred the room to be ice cold, and that was kind of always an issue for us. And then once we've got the 8Sleep, it's been really game-changing because I'll keep my side of the bed at like -10 on the setting, and Allison keeps it at, what do you keep it at?
Keep it at 2 or
2.
1.
Gotcha. Definitely way too
Just
toasty for me. Except occasionally, my feet will make their way over to her side to get warm.
Yeah.
But it's been super helpful. I don't really use the sleep tracking features of it because I use the Whoop, but it is nice that you have the flexibility to change it. So I usually start super cold when I start sleeping, and then I have it warm up when it's time to wake up, and to a point where it's like uncomfortably warm, and then kind of forces me to get out of bed. So yeah, it's been a huge, like the best investment I think that we've made together so far.
Yeah, I like it a lot.
Yeah.
It's more peaceful. Because we can't fight about the temperature
Yeah.
of the room.
Yeah, it's definitely nice when you have to share a bed and you have two different people that are like to sleep at different temperatures. So
You used to not sleep with covers.
yeah, I would sleep with no covers,
It's
just
too
nothing
hot.
on. Yeah.
I'm sad.
Yeah. So
Yeah. Thanks, Parker.
thank you, Parker. Talk to you soon.
I hope you guys enjoyed this video on the 8Sleep. As I mentioned, my coach, Natasha, she does have a discount code. If you guys are looking to pick it up, let me know and I will send that over to you. And yeah, I think that's about it for this video. And yeah, see you guys in the next one.